What are the best ready-to-wear brands for the classy man? That's today's topic. And we're going to start with some more affordable options for all of your basic pieces. Then we're moving on to a more premium price range. And then we're finishing off with some shoes. So I prepared a little presentation for you. And let's start with the basics. So these brands are sort of affordable, medium price range. And they are great for all of your essentials of your wardrobe. Especially if you're just starting out on this journey. And maybe you're a t-shirt and jeans guy. And now you want to move on to dress a little bit more classy. So in that case, what really helps is to have some essential pieces. So there would be, for example, some chinos, some wool trousers, some wool crewneck sweaters, some shirts. All of these are great when you buy them from these companies because they're somewhat affordable, especially if you do it like me and you buy second hand. Then you can build an entire wardrobe, all of your basic pieces for very little money. And the brands that I'm talking about are, for example, Tommy Hilfiger, Hugo Boss, Pierre Cardin, Daniel Hechter, Windsor, Hackett London, Massimo Dutti, Brooks Brothers, Cinque, Marco Polo, Baldessarini, Barbour, Strelson, and Charles Tarawood. And the good thing about these brands is that they are quite international, so you will find them in almost any country in the world. And that also means that you can find them on the second-hand market as well. And if you buy any of these brands new, it depends on your definition of affordable or not, whether you call this affordable. But when you look at those second-hand, then you will get really good deals. So for example, Tommy Hilfiger, you can get shirts, chinos or sweaters for less than $20 when you buy them second-hand. And in my opinion, I really like Pierre Cardin and Daniel Hechter. I'm not sure if I pronounce this correctly. Also Hackett London is quite nice, Windsor is nice. The cool thing about those brands is that they don't really have a lot of logos. When you buy Tommy Hilfiger or Hugo Boss, there will always be a little bit of a logo, which is fine because the logos are usually quite small. I mean, the Tommy Hilfiger logo is usually quite small. But if you have a logo on your pants, on your shirt, on your sweater, on your jacket, I think then it starts to get a little bit too much. That's why for me, if I buy Tommy Hilfiger, I reserve it more for like my smart casual pieces. Let's say I buy some linen shirts from them, then it's totally fine if there's a small logo. But I don't want to have the logo everywhere from top to bottom. And you might ask yourself, why should you buy this secondhand and not just go to something like Zara? The reason is that these companies produce higher quality pieces. So you can, for example, get a wool crewneck sweater for let's say like $10 or $20 secondhand, and it's 100% wool. It's not with polyester or something, because when you buy, for example, a lot of the sweaters from Zara and Windsor, not only do they rip faster, but usually also they have a lot of polyester, and that's not very breathable, it's not very comfortable. I really prefer to stick to natural fabrics. If you buy them secondhand from these brands, it's very affordable. So let me jump, for example, into Momox Fashion, the second-hand market here in Germany, just because this is the easiest place to show you what I mean. So let's start with all of the basics. And as you can see right here, they have 71,000 pieces of clothing for sizes M to L and all these different sizes in between. And the cool thing is that they have a really good filtering system. So I selected most of the brands, and for example, if I go now to the lowest price and I filter from lowest price, you can see that they have Tommy Hilfiger shirts for about €7. I can also change the condition to very well or almost as new. And you can see it starts at €7, which is I guess around $7 or $8 at the moment. And also you get some chinos. Might not be the prettiest chino right there, but you get the point. So basically you can start to get shirts for very little money. If I have a look at pants, for example, there's 1,800 pants from all these brands. And as you can see, they started around €7. So if you want to have a beige or blue chino, you can get a beige and blue chino for less than $20 combined. You can also filter for different fabrics. So you can filter, for example, for wool, for linen, or for cashmere. And let's say, for example, I want to have everything wool. I want to have some nice wool trousers. If I look at these brands, again, you have Pierre Cardin, you have Hugo Boss, you have some wool pants for €7. Now, like I said, these are very basic, but this is very nice to build your wardrobe. This is just a dark gray wool trouser, which can be very convenient to have, and it's just €7. If you buy something like this new, you're probably spending about 100, maybe €120 from these brands. So you get my point that these brands are very good to get started. And I'm also going to link them underneath the video so it's easier to follow along. And if there's anything that I missed, because it's impossible for me to list all the brands that are out there, let me know in the comments below. Let me know your experience with these brands, and I would love to hear about it. So now that we covered the basics for your sweaters, pants, maybe some sport jackets already, let's move on to the more premium price range. You can still get these ones secondhand. I bought from some of these companies secondhand, but it's a little bit more tricky to find, and I wouldn't really recommend it to build your entire wardrobe around it in the beginning. I would use this more sort of as a statement piece. So let's say you have all of your basics, you have your chinos, your sweaters. Maybe now you want to get some really nice looking coats, you want some really nice looking sport jackets, maybe some special shirts or polo shirts. Then this is the point when you want to move on to these brands. And of course, if your budget is a little bit higher, then you can also directly jump into these. So the first brand would be Zegna, and the problem is there's a lot of Italian brands coming, and I'm pretty sure that I would butcher all of the names. We have Palzileri, also a really beautiful company. Ralph Lauren, it could be considered if you buy secondhand, it could also be in the first category, but usually Ralph Lauren is a little bit more pricey than the other ones. And then they also have Ralph Lauren Purple, but that would be tricky to find on secondhand market, I think, and Ralph Lauren purple is crazy expensive. Then we have Tagliatore. I really love this company. They're made in Italy, really beautiful clothes. I have one sport jacket from them. And then there's Canali, also really nice for some special suits or coats or sport jackets. Brioni, again the same, also really nice for ties. Then Bolioli, also again, all of these brands are really nice for something like a sport jacket, a coat, or a suit. And then we have Keaton, Lardini. These ones are very, very expensive. But the cool thing is, if you buy secondhand, you can still get some Canali, for example, or Bolioli pants or suit jacket for very little money. But Keaton and Lardini, those are always, even when you buy secondhand, those are always very, very pricey. Etro, another one, a little bit funky, I think, in their designs many times, but still a cool brand. Sometimes you also get really good deals on them. Now we're moving into some more modern brands that are a little bit newer, so it can be sometimes more tricky to find them secondhand. Suit Supply is still quite international. They are still in most countries in the world, so the secondhand market is bigger than for some of the other ones, because now we also have 11T Milano, and then we have Boogie Milano, also quite international, so this one is also more easy to find. But then Pini Palma, absolutely stunning clothes, but this one is very difficult to find secondhand. But if you have the money, it's around the same price as Suit Supply, but instead of Suit Supply, who produce in China, these ones are made in Italy, and I think anything that they put out is just absolutely beautiful. And if I had the money, I would buy mostly from Pini Palma or from the next one, Luca Faloni. But the problem with these ones is Pini Palma or Luca Faloni are quite difficult to find secondhand. At least here in Germany, and I think also in the States it's probably the same. I'm personally a really big fan of Italian companies. I think they make the most beautiful clothes in the world. As you can see, there's almost only Italian companies on my list right here. And the cool thing is, if you build your wardrobe with all of the brands from before, all of the budget-friendly brands, and then over time you don't need to add that many more pieces, so you can focus on more higher quality over quantity. So in the beginning, if you're completely new, then you need to build your wardrobe quite quickly, right? Because if you still only have jeans or ripped jeans, and then you only buy a nice shirt, I mean, that's a good start, but your wardrobe is still lacking something. So in my opinion, it's really nice to start with the basic brands, with the basic pieces in secondhand, build your wardrobe. And then once you have that established, then you can focus more on quality over quantity. And those companies are great for that. And now we're moving on to the shoes. And again, we're starting with some more budget-friendly options. And we have Charles Talbot again. I mentioned in the beginning, but they also make some pretty decent shoes for quite affordable prices, to be honest. I think for a price point of around 120 to 150 euros, you get a pretty decent shoe, to be honest. And you can even find them secondhand, because it's a quite established company, so you can find them on the secondhand market. Next up, if you don't have that much money, but you still want some shoes that look decent, Class actually makes some shoes that look pretty nice. Not all of them, actually the majority of the shoes, I don't really like them that much. The same is true for Lloyd. They don't make the best quality shoes, but if you're just starting out and you just want to have a black dress shoe, a dark brown dress shoe, then you can get them very cheap secondhand from Lloyd, for example. Shoe Passion is one of those companies that's a little bit somewhere in the middle, because they also have shoes that start at around 150 euros and that are very high quality. They are produced here in Europe. They are completely Goodyear welted. So I would put them, depending on what kind of shoes you buy from them, I would put them to the sort of affordable to medium to high price, because they start anywhere from 150 euro and I think they go up to 1000 euro depending on what type of shoes and what brand from them you buy. I personally really love Shoe Passion. I think they make amazing shoes. They have really good online store, very good customer service as well, and I have quite a lot of pairs from them as well. Next up we have Tots. These ones, I think if you buy them new, they're quite expensive. It's a very well established brand, but in my opinion, if you buy a driving shoe with a tiny rubber sole, I think spending 500 euros or something like this is quite a lot. But if you buy them second hand, you can get Tots shoes for very little money. Again, because this is a well-known brand, you can find them on the second-hand market pretty well. And then next up we have Magnani. They also make beautiful shoes, also here from Europe. And you can also find them very well on the second-hand market. They are quite well established. I actually have one pair from them second-hand as well. I really like it. Even if you buy them new, they are still somewhat affordable for the quality that you get. They have some really good entry-level shoes, and of course they also have some really pricey ones. But I think the price point is really fair for what they offer. And then next we have Alden shoes, Berwick, Bally, Crockett & Jones. These shoes, depending on where you live in the world, might be more or less established. I think in the United States, for example, you also have some specific brands that are mostly in the United States that you won't really find here in Europe. And if you always keep an eye out, you will find some really good deals. So I usually go to different sites, let's say like eBay or Craigslist, and I put my shoe size and the brands that I like. And then I just put an automatic notification, because I personally have really large shoes, so there's not that many coming on the market. If I look, for example, at Bally shoes in my size, maybe every 3 or 4 months there's one shoe being listed, and then of course not every shoe is nice. So maybe once a year there's a nice Bally shoe that I can find secondhand in my size. So that's something that I recommend you to do anyway. Go to your favorite shops online where you buy secondhand and then just put automatic notifications, or you also can save your searches as a bookmark, and then you just have to press on the bookmark maybe every week or every month. just to check if there's something new, and then you can always have a look at what are the price points and if there's anything that you like. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if there's any brands that I missed that you think should be in the video, let me know in the comments below, and then I will put the list underneath the video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like as well, subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.